Okay. So, my low simply is just the fact that yesterday I was worried I wasn't going to be able to get this video out. Oh, I was going to do a video no matter what, just what I had planned, I was worried I wasn't going to be able to do. Actually, hold on a second. There we go. And a little bit of extra lighting helps. Okay, so, that's my low. I didn't get everything right before I started the video. Okay. My high is I was able to complete the things I wanted to do in order to prepare for this video. And my act of kindness was I had a show for my grandmother around for a little bit yesterday because she always gets her hair done. But yes, happy Saturday, everyone. And it's fitting I'm doing this on a Saturday because yesterday I binge watched 2 shows throughout the course of the day. And they're both cartoons. So, there you go. And they were the 3rd and final season of the Cuphead show and season 2 of Inside Job. I think for the sake of finality for the former, I'll start with the latter first. So, Inside Job, picks up right where season 1 left off, where Reagan was about to get that promotion, but her own father usurped her. And he is the exact opposite of JR. He is more of a totalitarian, crazy, paranoid guy than JR was. I mean, JR was pretty bad too, but not in the sense of like Rand is. And one of the biggest focal points throughout this season was the fact that Reagan actually finds a guy named Ron Statler, who's voiced by Adam Scott. I'll get to him a little bit later. And throughout the course of this season, Reagan is starting to really fall for him. But it's hard because he works for the Illuminati and she works for Cognito Inc. They're both rival companies, but they both have the same goal. They hide stuff from the world that they don't want anyone else to see. And throughout the course of the season, you see Reagan battling, do I want to keep this life or do I want to keep the man of my dreams and the love of my life in my life? And the season really got heavy in the penultimate episode, Project Reboot, where one of the main focal points throughout the season was Rand got usurped his own daughter to gain control of Cognito Inc. in order to impress, Reagan's mom. And he spectacularly fails at it. So in Project Reboot, he's like, forget it. Because he and JR many years ago created a machine that actually warps time. Creates a new timeline, if you will. So all throughout this episode, Rand is trying to find a timeline where, he has it all. He has Reagan, he has his wife, Tomiko, whatever her name is, and he's the head of Cognito Inc. He has it all. But no matter how many times he tries using the machine, Project Reboot, he doesn't get it. And it's very much messing up with everything involving the timeline. And comes the final episode, which is Appleton, where Reagan actually uses this information to see if she can find a timeline where she is able to run Cognito Inc. while also having a life with Ron. And this is where spoilers come in. It turns out she can have it, but it would be impossible for Ron to be happy. And that's ultimately what it boils down to. Now, granted, in every relationship, there's a lot of give and take. But at the end of the day, both people have to make each other happy. And in every timeline that Reagan saw, she noticed that she was so busy into her work that she had no time for Ron. And it got really sad. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you know, having gotten my heart broken earlier this year, it sucks. It totally sucks. So Reagan had made the ultimate choice. She actually found a timeline where there's a woman who looks like her, but it isn't her. And Ron is happy with this woman. But that means Reagan can't be there. There is no timeline where Reagan can be the head of Cognito Inc., have Ron in her life, and have them both be happy. It's just one of those things where for every, it's a great, and that's actually to the credit of the team behind Inside Job. They know that for every plot convenience, there must always be sacrifice. And they nailed it with how the season ended. So the season ends with the Black Robes wanting to make Reagan their partner. And so, obviously, I hope we're getting a season 3. But season 3, if we get it, should be, exploring who the Black Robes are. Like, who are these people? So, yeah. Now, I want to get to that part of the way because I have to talk about the cast. Lizzie Kaplan returns to her role as the lead character, Reagan. She nailed it. Adam Scott and her had great chemistry throughout this season. And Clark Duke is Brett Hand. Now, admittedly, after season 1 ended, I kind of thought that, maybe they were kind of hoping, maybe they were kind of going to have Brett and Reagan be a thing. And I was kind of hoping for that because I really do like them both. Like, they're both great characters in their own right, but when they're both together, I feel like they're the strongest. I made this comparison last time I did a video on Inside Job for the first season. Literally, Brett Hand and Reagan Ripley are Groot and Rocket, respectively. They both have faults that the other one balances out. Where, Reagan is, well, let's say brutally honest, even though some people would say rude. Brett's more kind and soft-spoken. Whereas, Brett's a little more, he thinks with his heart, Reagan thinks with her head. Et cetera, et cetera. They balance each other out. And they're my favorite characters in the show when it comes to characters and narrative and story. Although when it comes to sheer comedy, Brett Gelman as Mike, man, he comes back with a force. He's awesome. I loved Mike. He always makes me laugh every time. Every time Mike is on and has something funny to say, I always smile. Speaking of characters that also make me smile, John DiMaggio returns as Glenn. It's always nice to see John DiMaggio and stuff. Thank you. I mean, I know a while back I did a Mount Rushmore of John DiMaggio characters, and I'm kind of upset I didn't put Wrath on there. Maybe I should retool it so I put both Glenn and Wrath on there. Wrath from the Ben 10 series. But John DiMaggio is great. Bobby Lee is Andre. They actually give him more stuff to do. That's actually one good thing about this season. Like, characters like Gigi and Glenn and Andre and Mike, like, they did stuff in the first season, but I felt like this season they did a little bit more. Brett had just a little bit more. There was some stuff with him, especially the episode revolving around how horrible his family is. Good God, like, I thought my family was terrible. Holy cow. But, semantics. And I mentioned before, Adam Scott and Lizzie Kaplan, they have great chemistry. Like, those two, along with the comedy and the storytelling, they made the season for me. And, you really do feel bad when Reagan has to make that sacrifice at the end. Like, you feel horrible. But at the end of the day, Reagan knows that while life may not be perfect, there are some people in her life that make it better. Like her team, that consists of, Brett and Glenn and Mike and Gigi and Andre. Like, they're all great. This is just a really good show. And I I mean, there should be a season 3. They couldn't have the ending that they had and not have there be a season 3. But on the off chance I'm wrong, let's say that Inside Job only has 2 seasons. If the show ended here, I'd be okay with it. Even though they clearly teased that there's going to be a 3rd season based on how the story went. Like, if there's a if the story ends here, I'm okay with it. Speaking of stories ending, I ask you for one last time to come with me to the Inkwell Isles. It's just off the coast, maybe 29 miles. Where there's good and there's bad and then there's in between, with Cuphead and Mugman, you'll see what I mean. Yes, the Cuphead show aired its 3rd and final season. And, I mean, spoiler alert, I absolutely love this show. As a whole, it's, great. But you probably want me to explain a little bit more. This season, I think, was the best in terms of taking everything they learned from the first 2 seasons, incorporating it into this one, and rolling with it. Like, there was a few more double-length episodes. They really expanded the story and characters, specifically of Miss Chalice and the Devil, really well, which Luke Millington and Grey Delisle, you guys nailed it. I mean, Grey Delisle is, she's Grey Delisle. She is a national treasure when it comes to the voiceover world. We all know this. But Luke Millington, man, like, this is the season where I really think they emphasized the Devil as a character a lot more, especially in, like, the Christmas episode, and it was great. I'm not going to give away the Christmas episode, but I will say, the 2 episodes that involve, because there's actually 2 episodes, like, one involving Cuphead and Mugman trying to get a tree, and the Devil trying to get on the nice list. Yes, it's that kind of episode. There are 2 episodes, they're great, and honestly, they're perfect for the holiday season. I've got no complaints with that. They were really great for the holiday season. Johanna is ever, honestly, the one thing I kind of wish I saw that they didn't really do is, technically they did sort of do that with, actually they did this, never mind, where the Devil is trying to capture Mugman, trying to capture a Cuphead, and Elder Kettle thinks the Devil's a cat. It's hilarious. Oh man. I didn't even get into, so I should probably say the 3rd season starts where the 2nd season left off, where the Devil captured Mugman, and obviously Cuphead has to go and try and save him. And it's so great because when Mugman's in the underworld, he's just so upbeat and positive that nothing is getting to him. Like, he is in the underworld. I mean, they don't go out and say it's hell, but it's hell. It is. And then Mugman is just playing with marbles. It's great. I love that. That's hilarious even. But I can't talk about the end of the show without talking about the finale, which is, it turns out that Miss Chalice does have a past. She grew up as an orphan, and she made her, all she knew how to do was, dance and have fun. And just when she was finally getting the stuff that she wanted, she got run over by a streetcar. And then she did the one thing you should never do. She made a deal with the Devil. So yes, the Devil and Miss Chalice know each other very well. Basically, the Devil says, listen, I'll bring you back to life. In exchange, I want you to do me a favor at a later date. Naturally, the favor eventually would be to betray Cuphead and Mugman. And just when the Devil because she's about to do it, but then Miss Chalice is like, no, I don't want you to do that. And just when the Devil is about to, end her, let's say, she says, I guess we'll never know who the best dancer in the universe is. So there's a dance competition. And Miss Chalice pretty much wins it, but then she slips on the marbles that Cuphead gave her. So, yeah. At the very end, though, Cuphead's like, listen, I'll play you in a game, and if I win, we're all square. But if you win, you can end Miss Chalice, and you get mine and Cuphead's no, sorry, Mine and Mugman's souls. Obviously, it's Cuphead over there. And so the game is rock, paper, scissors. And it ends in a way that I can only describe as so fitting for the character of Cuphead. Because if there's one thing about Cuphead that I've learned throughout this whole show is he is by far one of the worst decision makers I think I've ever seen. Like right up there with the likes of Monkey D. Luffy and Tony Stark from the MCU. Half of everything he does is like no thinking whatsoever. And naturally, it's gotten him into a lot of trouble. I mean, the beginning of the third season picks up where season 2 left off, and that was a result of Cuphead doing just that, being, reckless, impulsive, and not being too carefree and not worrying about anything. But funny enough, when it comes to playing stuff like carnival games, he doesn't think about anything at all. He just does it. So the game is rock, paper, scissors. And Cuphead is able to beat the devil each and every round. He just doesn't think about it. He just does it. Which you would think is a horrible idea, but this is Cuphead we're talking about. One of the kings of bad ideas. And it worked. So, the devil goes away. Miss Chalice, Cuphead, and Mugman are free from the devil's nonsense. And then a month goes by. And then they see that a casino opens, which I never played the Cuphead game, but I do know that the premise of the game is Cuphead goes to a casino, he makes a bet, he loses, but to pay off the devil, he has to do work for him. I think this show, if the show was meant to be sort of a prequel to the game, I think it works. I hope it works. Yeah, it works. It totally works. I'm sticking to it. Because the series ends with Cuphead running to the casino, and obviously Mugman and Miss Chow's trying to stop her. And then there's no cliffhanger. That's the end of the show. I gotta say, I love this show. I mean, I didn't necessarily have the highest expectations going in because any fanboy and fangirl will tell you that anything video game related that's not the actual video game itself is doomed to be terrible, whether it's a movie or a TV show. Even in this day and age where we know better and filmmakers are making movies by fans for the fans, and we know that promoting stuff like a video game or a TV show is more than just making a quick buck via selling toys. Like, there actually has to be story and characters and narrative. It's actually, the best to ever really do it was anything Transformers related. It still sells toys, but, with shows like Transformers Prime, you kind of get the idea of, they're trying to do better about that. And I really think that the Cuphead show really may be the best thing that has ever come out of, this era of, video game. Yeah, there was that Castlevania show, but let's be honest, that's going to appeal more to adults. The Cuphead show definitely appeals to adults and kids. And if you don't think it appeals to adults, there's only this one scene where Miss Chalice possesses Elder Kettle, and they leave him alone in town. And then Elder Kettle wakes up wait, I'm in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of town. I have no idea how I got here. My wallet's empty. Elder Kettle, you still got it. That's funny. That works. But joking aside, the Cuphead show might actually be the best video game show ever. It just might be. In terms of appealing to as wide of an audience as it does. really think it works. So, I mean, yeah, Cuphead gets the S tier. I'm not even gonna argue with that. He does. You know, in a day and age where more, I mean, I really am glad that we live in a day and age where video game movies and shows like that are getting made. They're trying to be better. I mean, take a look at the Sonic the Hedgehog movies that came out. Those movies had little to no expectations, and they wound up being very well. Not just lucrative, but you know, lots of people really seem to like them. So it works. But yeah, I'd say Netflix has just been a really great treasure trove of great animated shows over the years. You know, with shows like Centaur World and Kid Cosmic, and now the Cuphead show. Inside Job still has maybe one more season to go, but that's in that category too. So, yeah, I'm really digging this. I haven't even had Netflix for a year, and I've already gotten so much out of it, including a couple of movie reviews and movie reactions, or movies as I call them, and shows. Like, yeah, it's worth all of it, man. If you have Netflix, go get it, seriously. You'd be surprised what you might find that you like. So, thank you to the Cuphead show, and I also can't stress this enough. What made the Cuphead show for me in this particular season, True Valentino and Frank Totoro, this is the best chemistry they had, bar none. In this season, like, they got, like, it was already good in the first two seasons, but this was the best. I really think they got it down pat. And it's a real shame that the show ended, because I really do want to see more, but such is life. You can't have it all, and nothing lasts forever. But sometimes you can find some beauty in things that are limited. I don't know. The point is, like, yeah, nothing lasts forever, but you know what? That doesn't mean nothing is good either. There's lots of things that are good. You just gotta know where to look. And keeping an open mind helps, which I like to do a lot. So nothing left to do now but wait out the day. Probably get myself some breakfast. Meet my dad and going to church. My dad actually has a speech he's got to do in church later this afternoon, so of course I'm going to go and support him. And then tonight I gotta go pick up my mom from the airport. A lot to do, but I think it'll be a good Saturday nonetheless. So I hope y'all liked this video, and if you did, leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on social media. As always, I am very humbled to make this video for all of you guys watching. Enjoy for today, and hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Saturday. And remember, if any of you guys want to talk or chat, I'm always going to be here to lend it out. Always have your back. Take care, and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.